Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Welcome again to our channel, Sir Lopez Vlog. Sa araw na ito ay pagpapatuloy natin ang ating naunang talakayan dito sa subject na obligations and contract. Ang topic natin ngayong araw ay tungkol sa nature and effect of obligations. Bago natin umpisahan ang ating pagtalakay sa araw na ito, alamin muna natin ang isang issue na gusto nating bigyan ng solusyon. Okay, so this is the situation. S sold his horse to B for 15,000 pesos. No date or condition was stipulated for the delivery of the horse. While still in the possession of S, the horse gave birth to a colt. Question: who has a right to the colt? Kanino ba mapupunta yung baby horse? Colt kasi ang tawag natin dyan. So, sino ba sa dalawa ang may karapatan sa baby horse na ito? Yung nagbenta ba o yung bumili? Take note, the parties in the contract is not aware that the horse is pregnant. Kaya bago pa ito ibigay nung seller ang horse na yan sa bumili, ito ay nanganak. So, sino ngayon sa dalawa ang higit na may karapatan sa baby horse na ito? Aalamin natin yan sa ating isasagawang pagtalakay sa araw na ito. Okay, bago natin bigyan solusyon ang naunang problema na ito, alamin muna natin kung ano ang isinasaad ng batas dito. Basahin natin ang Article 1164 ng New Civil Code. Article 1164. The creditor has a right to the fruits of the thing from the time the obligation to deliver it arises. However, he shall acquire no real right over it until the same has been delivered to him. Sa nasabi nating problema kanina, sino yung tinutukoy na creditor dito? Yung nagbenta ba o yung bumili? Sino sa kanila ang tinutukoy nating creditor? Kung ang pinag-usapan natin is the horse. Okay, so tama kayo. Ang creditor dito ay yung taong bumili. Okay? Yung taong bumili, that ang tawag natin dyan is bendi. Okay? Bendi, in the contract of sale, ang tawag natin dyan is bendi. Okay? So ano yung rights ng creditor na sinasabi dito sa batas? The creditor has the rights to the fruits. Okay? Ano ba yung fruits na sinasabi dito sa 1164? Meron kasi tayong tatlong klase ng fruits, or there are three kinds of fruits. Paki-take note kung anong mga fruits na ito. Mayroon tayong tinatawag na natural fruits. Natural fruits are the spontaneous products of the soil and the young and other products of animals. Okay? Spontaneous products of the soil and the young of the animals. Ito yung kanyang mga anak. Okay? O other products of animals, halimbawa dito yung kanyang, kung halimbawa sa manok o pato, ito yung kanyang mga itlog. Okay? Ito yung tinatawag natin natural fruits. Meron din tayong tinatawag na industrial fruits. Industrial fruits are those produced by lands of any kind through cultivation or labor. Those are products by lands through labor and cultivation. Halimbawa, nagtanim tayo, inalagaan natin ang pananim na ito hanggang sa ito ay namunga. Ang bunga na yan, ang tawag natin ay industrial fruits because this is the product of our labor. Number 3, meron din tayong tinatawag na civil truths. Are those derived by virtue of a juridical relation. Okay, ito yung halimbawa natin dito is yung renta. Okay, renta ng bahay. Halimbawa, ikaw ay may mga boarding houses. Okay, yung renta na binabayad ng mga boarders, ang tawag natin yan ay civil truths. So, ito yung mga truths na tinutukoy dito sa Article 1164. So, ibig sabihin ba ngayon na ang may karapatan sa baby horse na yan ay yung bumili sapagkat siya ang creditor dito sa Article 1164? Kailan ba nagkakaroon ng karapatan ang isang creditor sa fruit of the thing which is the object of the obligation? Kailan ba siya nagkakaroon ng karapatan sa mga fruits nito? Ulitin natin basahin ang batas. The creditor has the right to the fruit of the thing from the time the obligation to deliver it arises. Ayan. So, nagkakaroon lamang ng karapatan ang creditor sa mga fruits of the thing which is the object of the obligation from the time the obligation of the debtor to deliver the thing arises. So, sa problema na ating binasa kanina, is there already an obligation on the part of the debtor or the seller to deliver the horse? Take note, sinabi kanina, there is no stipulation as to when the horse will going to deliver. Yun ang problema. Sa kontrata nila, hindi nakalagay doon kung kailan niya i-deliver yung horse. Ang sinasabi dito sa Article 1164, ang creditor, we are referring to the buyer, has the right to the fruit when the obligation to deliver it arises. Ang problema na ating binasa kanina, hindi naka-indicate doon kung kailan niya i-deliver yung horse. So therefore, hindi malinaw ngayon kung kailan yung obligation ng debtor to deliver the thing. When is the obligation to deliver the thing arises? Ito ngayon ang ating susunod na aalamin. Mayroon tayong 4 na batayan dito. Una, generally, the obligation to deliver the thing due and consequently the fruits, if any, arises from the time of the perfection of the contract. Perfection in this case refers to the birth of the contract or to the meetings of the mind between the parties. Ayan. So that is the general rule. Ang kalahatang alituntunin that the obligation to deliver the thing arises from the time of the perfection of the contract. So therefore, kung walang agreement yung parties kung kailan niya i-deliver the thing or the object of the obligation, the law says it arises at the time of the perfection of the contract. So kahit wala silang agreement kung kailan niya i-deliver yung horse, ang batas na ang nagsasabi mismo that the obligation to deliver the horse arises from the time of the perfection of the contract. Ano ba yung contract? By the way, para mas palinaw ang ating kaalaman, ano bang ibig sabihin ng contract? Okay. Ano ba yung contract? Ito ba yung papel na pinipirmahan ng dalawang partido? Ito ba yung contract na sinasabi natin? Yung papel ba na pinipirmahan ng dalawang partido? Okay. For your information, hindi po yan ang contract. Okay. Ang contract ay hindi po ito isang piece of paper. Okay. So, ang alam kasi natin, asan yung kontrata? Ito, yung pinapakita yung papel. Hindi po yan yung contract. Okay. Basahin natin kung anong ibig sabihin ng contract. Article 1305 of the New Civil Code. A contract is a meeting of minds between two persons whereby one binds himself with respect to the other to give something or to render some service. So, sa definition ng contract, hindi natin nabasa dito, it is a piece of paper, ano? So, therefore, a contract is not a piece of paper. A contract is a meeting of the minds. Take note, okay? Yan ang ibig sabihin ng kontrata. It is the meeting of the minds, hindi yung piece of paper. Ang piece of paper na yan, that is only an evidence of the contract. Kaya, kahit na wala yung piece of paper na yan, meron pa rin tayong masasabing kontrata. Sapagkat, kahit na wala ang piece of paper na yan, hindi lang naman yan ang paraan para mapatunayan ng isang kontrata. Okay? Kasi ang kontrata is, sinabi ng batas, it is the meeting of the minds between the two persons. Kaya kahit ulitin mo pa yung piece of paper na yan, hindi ibig sabihin, I should say, na wala na kayong kontrata. Meron. Okay? Ang binunit mo na yan is only a piece of paper. Okay, so that is the first rule. Punta tayo sa second rule. If the obligation is subject to a suspensive condition or period, it arises upon the fulfillment of the condition or arrival of the term. However, the parties may make stipulation to the contrary as regards the right of the creditor to the fruit of the thing. Ayan, kung halimbawa yung agreement is subject to a term or period or subject to a condition, the obligation to deliver arises the moment of the fulfillment of the condition. So the obligation to deliver arises only from the moment of the fulfillment of the obligation or the moment that upon arrival of the term or period. So, in details na talakayin natin later on yung conditions at saka yung period or term. Okay? So, in the meantime, let it be as it is muna. Maliwanag, number 2, the obligation to deliver the thing arises from the moment of the fulfillment of the condition or arrival of the term if there is an agreement as to the term and conditions. Exemption, kung meron naman silang agreement kahit na may term or may conditions, when to deliver the thing is still subject to their agreement. That is what provided for by number 2. Number 3, in a contract of sale, the obligation arises from the perfection of the contract even if the obligation is subject to a suspensive condition or a suspensive period where the price has been paid. Ayan. So, nagbibigay na ng kaunting kalinawan yung ating sinabing problema kanina. Yung number 3, sinasabi dito, the obligation to deliver the thing arises from the moment of the perfection of the contract. We are referring to the contract of sale. Even if that contract is subject to conditions or period, as long as the price is already paid. Kapag nabayaran na yung bagay na yan in the contract of sale, kahit yung agreement to deliver ay hindi pa dumarating, kahit yung agreement of the condition or period to deliver the thing ay hindi pa ito natutupad o dumarating, when it comes to a contract of sale, this already arises from the payment of the price, even if the condition or the term of their agreement to deliver does not yet arrive. That is rule number 3. Let's proceed to rule number 4. In obligation to give arising from law, quasi-contract, delicts, and quasi-delicts, the time of performance is determined by the specific provisions of the law applicable. Okay? So, kung ang obligation is arising from law by quasi-delict, by delict, the obligation arises based on the provision of the applicable laws. So, yung problema natin kanina, kung kanino ba yung baby horse, ay nasagot na nung rule number 3. Okay? Basahin ulit natin yung number 3. In the contract of sale. Okay, tama. Contract of sale ngayon kasi nagbenta nga ng horse si S sa halagang 15,000 pesos. So, this is a contract of sale. In the contract of sale, the obligation arises from the perfection of the contract even if the obligation is subject to a suspensive condition or a suspensive period where the price has been paid. Yun ang determining factor dyan. Nabayaran na ba niya yung horse o hindi pa? Okay? Kung nabayaran na niya yung horse, subject to the condition that he will going to deliver the horse in the future, kung nanganak yung horse by that time, pag-aari ito ng taong bumili. Okay. Take note, dapat nabayaran na niya yung horse. Kahit hindi pa niya na i-deliver ito sa kanya lahat ng fruits ng horse niya. Kung sakali man na hindi pa niya nabayaran yung horse, by that time na nanganak yung horse, ito ay pag-aari ng may-ari ng horse. Ito ay pag-aari, in other words, ni S na nagbenta ng horse. Kung sakali man na hindi pa nababayaran ni B yung horse. So, that is the answer for problems we previously read. So, take note, in a contract of sale, all the fruits shall pertain to the vendee from the day on which the contract was perfected. Kasi once na nabayaran na yung vendor, the vendee has already all the rights to its fruits. Kaya kung ikaw ay bumibili ng isang bagay, bayaran mo na kagad bago pa niya i-deliver yung thing. Kasi kung sakali may fruits yan, sa'yo lahat yan. Pero kung sakali man na ayaw mo namang bayaran hanggat ito ay nadi-deliver sa'yo, wala kang karapatan sa mga fruits na yan. Okay, so imagining, for example, nabayaran na niya yung horse na yan. From the time of their agreement, so bayad na yung horse. So maliwanag, ang baby horse ay mapupunta sa vendee o yung bumili nito. Ngayon, anong karapatan ang sinasabi ng batas na meron kay B with respect to the baby horse? Okay, anong klaseng karapatan ang meron siya? Mayroon kasi tayong dalawang rights, personal rights at real rights. Basahin natin. A personal right is therefore binding or enforceable only against a particular person, while a real right is directed against the whole world. So, ito yung ibig sabihin. Basahin ulit natin ang 1164 para mas malinaw. The creditor has a right to the fruits of the thing from the time the obligation to deliver it arises. Yung right na sinasabi dito is referring to personal right. Bakit? However, he shall acquire no real right over it until the same has been delivered to him. Wala pa kasi siyang real right until na ma-deliver sa kanya yung thing na tinutukoy natin. So, with respect to the horse, hanggat hindi pa na i-deliver ni S yung horse sa'yo, kahit binayaran mo na yan, ang karapatan mo lamang dito sa horse is only personal right. Kasama na rin yung fruits dito. Personal rights pa lang. Ibig sabihin, hindi mo pa pag-aari yung horse. Okay, so maliwanag. Ito kasi ang sinasabi dito sa second paragraph, second sentence. However, he shall acquire no real right over it until the same has been delivered to him. So para maging ganap ang pag-aari mo sa bagay na iyong binili, dapat mai-deliver sa iyo. Hanggat hindi pa yan na i-deliver, you acquire no real rights over it. Ibig sabihin, hindi pa ikaw ang may tuturing na may-ari niyan. Pero hanggat hindi pa niya ito na i-deliver, meron kang personal rights dyan. Ibig sabihin, you can demand the fulfillment of his obligation to deliver to you. Okay? So maliwanag? So dapat para maging ganap ang pag-aari mo sa bagay na iyong binili, may deliver yan ng taong nagbenta sa iyo. So on the part of B, ang rights na meron lamang siya sa fruit of the horse na yan is only personal. Hindi pa binding ang whole world dyan. Ibig sabihin, binding lamang dyan si S. Okay? So ano ngayon ang problema? Ang problema ganito. Nung nanganak yung horse, halimbawa, hindi pa niya ito na i-deliver sa iyo. Obviously, sabi natin kanina, kung nabayaran mo na yung horse na yan, sa iyo yung kanyang anak. Ngunit, ang sinasabi ng batas, wala ka pang real right dyan. Kailangan ma-deliver mo na yan para masabing mayroon kang real right dyan. So therefore, kung sakali man na binenta ni S yung baby horse kay C, itong si C naman, hindi niya aware ang agreement ninyo. Hindi siya aware sa agreement ni S at saka si B. Anong karapatan ni B sa baby horse kung naibenta na ito kay C? Meron ba siyang karapatan na sabihin kay C, "Oy C, akin yan, i-deliver mo sa akin. Kung hindi, sasampang kita ng kaso." Karapatan mo ba yan? O hindi? Sino ngayon ang may-ari ng baby horse na yan? Si C na bumili o ikaw na nagbentahan pero hindi pa na i-deliver yung principal horse? Okay? Yun ang tanong. So take note. Sabi ng batas, since hindi pa ikaw ang ganap na may-ari ng baby horse na yan, kung naibenta ito kay C, okay, wala kang habol doon. Wala kang habol kay C. Kasi hindi pa binding to the whole world ang karapatan mo sa baby horse na yan. Ang habol mo ngayon ay go up. Kasi nandoon yung karapatan mo, personal right. That is to demand the payment of the baby horse na pinagbintahan niya kay C, and at the same time, the demand to deliver the horse. Plus, ito na yung plus, damages. Yan. Yun ang maganda dito. Damages. Damios. Okay. Pero kung pipilitin mo si C, na kunin sa kanya yung horse, wala kang karapatan dito. Kasi hindi pagganap ang iyong pag-aari dito. Hindi pa kasi nadidiligan eh. Iyon ang patakaran. Iyon ang batas natin. Okay? So sana maliwanag ang ginawa nating pagtalakay sa araw na ito. Medyo may kahirapan ito kung hindi face-to-face kasi wala kayong time para magtanong. Pero kung may mga tanong kayo, just write in the comment icon para sasagutin natin. Okay? Napansin ko kasi sa unang vlog natin, nahihiya itong mga estudyante natin na BSBA na mag-comment. Ang mas maraming comment doon ay yung mga criminology. Kay BSBA, kung may mga bagay kayo na hindi malinaw, don't be hesitate to write your comment. Okay. Pero believe naman ako sa isang BSBA. Sinagutan pati yung para sa mga first year criminology. Okay, nagulat niya ako eh. Okay. Supposed to be para sa mga first year criminology yung vlog na yun. Sila lang dapat ang sasagot. Pero patalino talaga itong isang estudyante natin. Sinagutan pa rin. Okay, okay lang yun. And yun, makipag-interact kayo sa akin sa pamamagitan ng inyong mga comment, suggestion, or question sa ating comment icon. So, bago tayo magtapos, mag-iwan tayo ng isang katanungan na kailangan ninyong sagutan. Okay? This is the situation. Pumunta ka sa isang restaurant, halimbawa. Okay? Nag-order ka ng isang, sabihin na natin, talaba. Okay? So, alam niyo naman siguro yung talaba. Okay? Seashells. Nag-order ka ng isang talaba. Okay? Iwan kong I do not know sa Ilocano. Hindi ko alam anong Ilocano ng talaba. Okay? Ang amount nito is 250 pesos sa isang restaurant. Nung binigay na sa iyo yung order mo talaba, start na para ikaw ay kumain. Pero nung buksan mo itong talaba nito, nagulat ka kasi sa loob nito mayroong perlas. At ang value ng perlas na yan ay aabot ng 100,000 pesos. Eh, ang tanong, kanino yung perlas na yan? Yung may-ari ng restaurant o ikaw na bumili ng talaba? Okay? Pakilagay ang inyong sagot sa comment icon. Babasahin natin. Okay? So hanggang sa muli, maraming salamat at magandang araw po sa inyong lahat.